Sister Glucaria has mentioned. Welcome. And yeah, we do some short prayers. The idea for these prayers is not some show bottle spiritual artificiality, but it's a process of invoking the ascended teachers, to invoke their blessings, to also invoke the blessings of the Supreme, and our grand spiritual master, His Divine Grace, so Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, to use the speaker. Today is myself. I wouldn't say my humble self. Today is my puffed up self. So this process of speaking is going to also help to purify me from my puffed upness. And traditionally, anybody who's a little bit scholarly, they're puffed up. So it's just a general disease we have. He knows. Yeah. So we need some explanation like this so that whatever we are doing, we have an insight about the essence of it. Why is it being done? So these prayers basically is glorifying Lord Krishna as the husband of the goddess of fortune. It's also called Madhava, means the husband of Mona Lakshmi or Radharani. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Gopi Janavala Bhakti Bhattari Gopi Janavala Bhakti Bhattari Yashodanandana Vrajana Rahantana Yashodanandana Vrajana Jamatera Vanachari Jamatera Vanachari Jamatera Vanachari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Sila Abhachan Bhakti-vedanta Swami Papa Maharaj ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavina ki Namacharya Sila Haridas Thakur ki Pram Si Kahao Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Si Advaita Gadadhar Si Vasaya Si Gaura Bhakti-vedanta ki Si Radha Krishna Gopal Gopinath Syama Kunda, Radha Kunda, Girikapadam ki Jai, Sivandavan Dham ki Jai, Simayapanavadip Dham ki Jai, Sijaganapur Dham ki Jai, Gangamaya Yamunamaya ki Jai, Simatatu Devi Bhakta Devi ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vinda ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premananda. All glories to the summer devotees. All glories to the summer devotees. All glories to the summer devotees. All glories to the Guru and Guru. You record it? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So again, welcome to 26nd Avenue, the Matchless Gifts. This is the very first temple of Srila Prabhupada in the West. So today's text is from this very great classical literature. It's called Bhagavad-gita As It Is. Bhagavad-gita That term is a Sanskrit terminology. Bhagavad means God, and Gita means song. Bhagavad-gita literally means the song of God. You have role models who are your heroes and celebrities. They sing very beautiful songs, material songs, and those songs help to entangle us more in this material world. Krishna also is a great singer, and even his philosophy, his literary exposition is a song. In Goloka Vrindavan, it is mentioned in the Bhagavatam that speaking is like singing, and movement is like dancing. So this is the song of God, Bhagavad-gita. So I'm trying to do some explanation indirectly so that people, the newcomer, will wonder, what? Song of God? Yeah, if you have songs in the material world, where you think people derive that skill from? Yeah. So, text 21 of chapter 14, titled The Three Modes of Material Nature, Bhagavad-gita As It Is. Arjuna Uvacha Kailingas Tri Gunametan Atito Bhavati Prabhu Kimachara Katam Chetans Tringunam Activatate Kailingas Tringunanetan Atito Bhavati Prabhu Kimachara Katam Chetans Tringunam Activatate Kailingas Tringunanetan Atito Bhavati Prabhu Kimachara Katam Chetans Tringunam Activatate. Someone try.
Arjuna Uvacha Karlingais Tringunanetan Atito Bhavati Prabhu Kim Achara Katam Chaitams Tringuna Nativartate.
Someone else?
Arjuna Uvacha Karlingas Tringunan Etam Atito Bhavati Prabhu Kim Achara Katam Chaitams Tringunan Ativartate.
Anyone else? Males?
Arjuna Uvacha Karlingas Tringunanetam Atito Bhavati Prabhu Kimachara Katam Chetams Tringunan Ativartate.
Ladies?
Arjuna Uvacha Karlingas Tringunanetam Atito Bhavati Prabhu Kim achara katam chantams.
Kimachara katam chaitams.
Tringunan ativartate.
Tringunan ativartate.
Anyone else, ladies? So many ladies here. Help us, beat the man.
Arjuna uvacha.
Arjuna vacha.
Kailinga strin gunam etam.
Kailinga strin gunam etam.
Atito bhavati prabhu.
Atito bhavati prabhu.
Kamachara katam chaitams.
Kimachara katam chaitams.
Tringunam ativartate.
Tringunan ativartate.
Anyone else, ladies? The men, three of them recited, so let's catch, one to one. Or at least we could excel a bit. Yeah. One more lady to beat up.
Arjuna vacha.
Arjuna vacha.
Kalinga strin gunanitam.
Kalinga strin gunanitam.
Atito bhavati prabhu.
Atito bhavati prabhu.
Kimachara katham chaitam.
Kimachara katam chaitams.
Tringunan asivartate.
Tringunan ativartate.
So, word for word, thank you very much. Word for word translation, Arjuna uvacha.
Arjuna vacha.
Arjuna said,
Arjuna said.
Kai,
Kai.
by which?
By which?
Linge,
Linge.
symptoms.
Symptoms.
Trin,
Trin.
tre.
Trin.
Gunan,
Gunan,
qualities.
Qualities.
Etan,
Etan.
all these.
All this.
Atitaha,
Atitaha.
having transcended.
Having transcended.
Bhavati,
Bhavati.
is.
Is.
Prabhu,
Prabhu.
oh my Lord.
Oh my Lord.
Kim,
Kim.
what?
What?
Acharaha,
Acharaha.
behavior.
Behavior.
Katam,
Katam.
how?
How.
Cha,
Cha.
also.
Also.
Etan,
Etan.
this.
This.
Trin,
Trin.
tre.
Trin.
Gunan,
Gunan.
qualities.
Qualities.
Ativartate,
Ativartate.
transcends.
Transcends.
So, translation and purport by His Divine Grace is confirmed Acharya. Srila Abhacharya Navindra Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Maharaj ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Arjuna said, "Oh my dear Lord, by which symptoms is one known who is transcendent, who is transcendental to these three modes? What is his behavior? And how does he transcend the modes of nature?" Please can you respond? Repeat. Arjuna inquired.
Arjuna inquired.
Oh my Lord,
Oh my Lord.
by which symptoms
By which symptoms
is one known
is one known
who is transcendental
who is transcendental
to these three modes?
to these three modes?
What is his behavior?
What is his behavior?
And how does it transcend the modes of nature?
How does he transcend the modes of nature?
So, Papa, please listen with rapt attention. In this verse, Arjuna's questions are very appropriate. He wants to know the symptoms of a person who has already transcended the material modes. He first inquires of the symptoms of such a transcendental person. How can one understand that he has already transcended the influence of the modes of material nature? The second question asks how he lives and what his activities are. Are they regulated or non-regulated? Then Arjuna inquires of the means by which he can attain the transcendental nature. That is very appropriate. That is very important. Unless one knows the direct means by which one can be situated above, be situated always transcendentally, there is no possibility of showing the symptoms. So all these questions put by Arjuna are very important. And the Lord answers them. Shall we go to the answers? Abner?
Sure. I'd like to know the answers.
Because this is it's a great dialogue, and this is like putting us into suspense with expectations. So what was Krishna's response? Again, this is something very stimulating because traditionally in the field, in pedagogy, you know, there's no such a room for a dialogue between the teacher and the student. The teacher just comes to the class and downloads everything from his encephalon. If you like, you take notes. If you like, you leave it. But here is step by step, very systematic way of learning. So I like this old system. So I'll just read through the text, maybe just the English or the Sanskrit word. What do you prefer?
You mean the answers? You mean subsequent?
Yeah.
As you
Just
like.
translation.
What do you prefer?
You throw the ball back to me, right?
I think you prefer to read just the English, is my guess.
No, I prefer to read the Sanskrit.
There you go. Well, let's do that.
Sri Bhagavan Vacha. These are Krishna's responses to Arjuna's questions. Prakasam cha pravitim cha mohan eva cha pandava. Na dvesti sampravitani na nivritani kinchati. Udashina wat asino guneyo na vicharity. Guna vatante ite vam yo vatistati nengati. Samaduka suka swa staha. Sama losh tasma kanchana. Tulia priyo diras. Tulia nindatma samstuti. Mana papanayos tulia mitrari pankshayo. Savaramba paritya gi gunatita sauchiti. So let me just read the translation. The Supreme Personality of God had said, O son of Pandu, he who does not hate illumination, attachment and delusion, when they are present, or long for them when they disappear, who is unwavering and undisturbed through all these reactions of the material qualities, remaining neutral and transcendental, knowing that the modes alone are active, who is situated in the self and regards alike happiness and distress, who looks upon a lump of earth, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is equal toward the desirable and undesirable, who is steady, situated equally well in praise and blame, honor and dishonor, who treats alike both friend and enemy, and who has renounced all material activities. Such a person is said to have transcended the modes of nature. So, let me quickly get to the purport. The purport is very elaborate. Purport. Arjuna submitted 3 different questions, and the Lord answers them one after another. In these verses, Krishna first indicates that a person transcendentally situated has no envy and does not hanker for anything. When a living entity stays in this material world, embodied by the material body, it is to be understood that he is under the control of one of the 3 modes of material nature. In other words, inasmuch as we have material bodies, we are impacted and under the auspices of one of these modes. When he is, and don't say Prabhupada is being gender biased. So we'd like to say when he or she is, because the soul is actually it's actually we are Prakriti. There's an argument to that presented by Meera, this great Indian musician Meera. She made a great argument with Rupa Goswami. That will come to that. We'll come to that later. So when he is actually, in other words, the soul is actually out of the body, then he is out of the clutches of material modes of nature. But as long as he is not out of the material body, he should be neutral. He should engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord so that his identity with the material body will automatically be forgotten. When one is conscious of the material body, he acts only for sense gratification. But when one transfers the consciousness to Krishna, sense gratification automatically stops. One does not need this material body. One does not need this material body, and he does not need to accept the dictations of the material body. The qualities of the material modes in the body will act, but a spirit soul, the self, is aloof from such activities. How does it become aloof? It's a great question. Prabhupada posed a question here. He does not desire to enjoy the body, nor does he desire to get out of it. He does not desire to enjoy the body, nor does he desire to get out of it. Thus, transcendentally situated, the devotee becomes automatically free. He need not try to become free from the influence of the modes of material nature. The next question concerns the dealings of a transcendentally situated person. The materially situated person is affected by the so-called honor and dishonor offered to the body. But the transcendentally situated person is not affected by such false honor and dishonor. He performs his duty in Krishna consciousness and does not mind whether a man honors or dishonors him. He accepts things that are favorable for his duty in Krishna consciousness, otherwise he has no necessity for anything material, either a stone or gold. He takes everyone as his dear friend, who helps him in his execution of Krishna consciousness, and he does not hate his so-called enemy. He is equally disposed and sees everything on an equal level because he knows perfectly well that he has nothing to do with the material existence. Social and political issues do not affect him because he knows the situation of temporary upheavals and disturbances. He does not attempt anything for his own sake. He can attempt anything for Krishna, but for his personal self, he does not attempt anything. By such behavior, one becomes actually transcendentally situated. Magyana Tumiransa. Jnana Jnanam Salakaya. Saksuram Malitam. Yena Tasmai. Say Guru Namaha. I was born in the darkest region of ignorance. Yet my spiritual master, His Holiness Bhakti Vasudeva Swami Maharaj, opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So, welcome. And again, it's a nice session to be with all of you. And today is one of those days that we should be contemplating or thinking about the wonderful literary works of Prabhupada. Namaham Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutali, Simata Bhaktivedanta Swami Itanam, Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vicharini Visesa Sanyavadi, Pasatya Visitarini. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Sadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Panchakalpataribhyacha, Kripa Sambhya Evacha, Patitanam Pavanaya. So these two purposes are very, these two related texts, actually 22 to 25 and then 21, they're related because in 21 Arjuna is asking some questions. It's very typical in pedagogy that the student asks some question, the learner makes some inquiries. And what is unique about the Vedic tradition is that, you don't just talk, preach, sit down, or come to the pulpit and talk all type of grammar, and then, you wave everybody off. No, you are supposed to be questioned. But the learner has to make inquiries for clarification, not pointing to the teacher that, hey, I find fault with your paper. That's what we do in the academy. We come to the conferences, and then, idea is, hey, you think you're a very old professor, very learned. I found fault with your paper. That's not the process of learning here. Yeah, humble inquiries. And that humble inquiry is not enough. If we want to gain substantially, we also need to render some service. So the question is, okay, I've been coming to the temple for 20 years, 10 years, 30 years, 50 years. What's your service? What's your service of Prabhupada? What's your service of Krishna? What service do you perform? This is the difference between the Vedic standard of knowledge acquisition and any other type of information culture. But even in the modern educational system, the learner renders some service. Who can say how he renders the service? How does he render the service? How does the learner render the service? He pays. He pays money. He pays money, heavy school fees. Heavy one. Remember, one of my friends, he was telling me, oh, I just have to give up everything and, become a full-time preacher. I said, what are you going to do? What about your bills? What about your school loan? He's a dentist. So he looked at me and said, oh, Maharaj, it's so true. And he told me, you know how much I'm owing? He said, $400 and something $1,000. So, even in modern time, you pay for the services you receive in the process of learning. And therefore, it is important for us to understand that. Yeah, it's very easy. When we come to the temple, we've been coming for years. And we are very proud to tell someone, I've been coming for 8 years. I've been coming for, 20 years. What we should be telling people is, yeah, I've been coming for the past 1 month. This is the service I do every day for PowerPoint. That will speed up our process of learning, because this process is not just a matter of acquiring information. It comes with realization. And that realization is what stimulates the growth of anyone in Krishna consciousness. So service has to be there. And so we'll find out this very science is very subtle, it's very complex. And it's only when we have purified our heart that we can easily assimilate the information, digest it, or assimilate it, and then leave it. To assimilate the information is one thing, but to leave it is another thing. And that's the most essential aspect of it. You have some realizations. In other words, we've been coming for some years. What about character? What about our character? Have we changed from gaslighting to a purity of heart? Have we changed from being envious of each other to purity of heart? Have we changed from just trying to find fault with everybody else? Vice versa, our service to the devotees. So these are important, these are impertinent questions every one of us should actually pose to themselves. Because when we come to Krishna consciousness, we read it in books, and sometimes some of us, we're really very, very voracious. We want to read and digest. I remember when I joined, people would be talking in the ashram. I would just go to the back of the building, read. I was so eager to, to go in depth about. There are so many books. I saw this Bhagavatam, and each page you read is just giving you some new information and all these stuffs. So it is so important for us to understand the process of Krishna consciousness, and that Prabhupada gives explanation to that in his books. And here in the Prabhupada, Arjuna is asking, he's talking about transcendental consciousness. The most of nature, we are so much entangled. Someone may say, well, I'm not in the mode of ignorance. I'm not affected by the mode of ignorance. I'm not affected by the mode of passion. I'm situated in the mode of goodness. But must you be the one to assess yourself, to judge how you dance well on stage? Should somebody be the evaluator to see whether your dancing or your singing was so appealing, or you have to, of course, there's a witticism that, the lizard that jumps down from the hierarchical tree says, if no one praises him, he will praise himself. And that's why you see the lizard, when it jumps down from a high wall, the lizard makes like this. You don't praise me, I praise myself. I did a good job. I did a good job by jumping from there. But that is completely counterproductive to Krishna consciousness. We allow people to assess us. And so, Arjuna himself was very confused in the beginning. And based on Krishna's assessment, he said, hey, you're talking similarly wise, words, but you're acting like a fool. So we are like fools. And except we accept the position of being stupid, foolish before our spiritual master, we may not be able to assimilate the information and leave it. Because then anattas are not able to, the impurities of the heart are not able to allow us to make, that advancement that we desire. And so here, being transcendental to the most of nature is not just a joke. You read, we hear in the purport. It's not a joke, man. It's not a joke. Equanimity. All of us, we're thinking, this is my enemy. This is my friend. I don't want to talk to this guy. He hates me. All of us, we are prone to criticism. We like to criticize people. We like to gaslight. You know what gaslighting means? To try to manipulate people subtly. And sometimes you've been gaslighted and you can never tell. You don't have to figure out because you don't know the psychology of gaslighting. So you don't know. You think that the person, he loves you so much, or she loves you so much, and he's doing this and doing that. But it's a way of trying to just manipulate you to see how you can align with the person. I mean, it's like this subgroupism, in social setting. And so it's to transcend. These are due to the effects of the modes of nature. We want to be honored. So I have some group. Hey, Dixon. Hey, Sacha. Hey, we have this meeting. But then we're having a meeting. What is the objective of the meeting? What is the goal of the meeting? I told one of my mentees to go for a PhD, and she asked me, so what will be the goal? Yeah, you have to ask, what is the goal? What is the goal? If we just have to bring people together just to see that we're trying to make them to align with us, it doesn't make any sense. And so whatever we're doing, we have to ask ourselves, what is the goal? Will this help? In the next couple of months, will we be able to think about positively how this could help in fostering relationships in Krishna consciousness? Otherwise, we simply create some groupisms. And so, this is due to the effect of the modes of nature. We may say, well, I'm not affected by the modes of nature. But we are affected, man. We are affected. Someone was telling me, I was in town, I went to Texas, and someone was telling me, in this community? I said, what? He said, well, during the prasadam time, you see the white guys, they have their own place. All of them eat together. The Hispanics, they all eat together. The blacks, they eat together. So I said, so what's your concern about that? He said, we hear about the philosophy and we are still identifying with the body. It's so difficult to transcend the body, man. It's so difficult. So instead of simply casting stones, I wanted to use this to kill people for apparent, derailment from the expectations of the Vedic behavior. We should set our own. We should be examples. Because based on these explanations in the purport here, are we free from envy? Are we free from envy? So, this is the point. Spiritual life looks very simple. If we can go, okay, there's a program here. There's a program in Queens. I go there. There's a program in New Rochelle. I go there. Today there's a program in Queens. I went there in the morning. Tomorrow there's a program in New Rochelle, upstate New York. I went there. That's a good thing. It's called Sangha. We should be hungry for that. But the thing is, we should ask ourselves, yeah, we've been associating with the devotees for years. What is my service? What is my service? What am I doing to help my spiritual master to foster Krishna consciousness? Otherwise, it becomes like something that we do just to be able to promote our ego. That I'll go to all the programs. But what is the idea of the programs? It's to purify our hearts, to be able to see that, yes, I should help in pushing on the mission of Prabhupada. Each time I come here, when I leave this place, and I ask myself, he's been giving me a donation each time I come here. That I feel very uncomfortable because I used to question myself. Look, there's some few people coming there, and he keeps giving me donation each day I go there. Where are they getting the money? Yeah.
By crooked means.
If I look at it, I could object it, but he's not going to feel happy because he's thinking, oh, you come all the way from Queens, and this is just a way to appreciate your presence. I do that to people, and they think that I don't love them or something like that, because someone makes an offering and then you turn it down for whatever reason. It's like you are objecting their warm embrace. Somebody want to argue and then you say, hey, don't touch me. We had that in the case of Brigo when he went to see Lord Shiva when he was performing the experiment to figure out who is the supreme amongst these three deities: Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma, and Lord Shiva. So I remember when he went to see Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is his brother, son of Lord Brahma. He went to see Lord Shiva to really evaluate whether Lord Shiva is the supreme. So he decided, I will hurt him by vocally. Lord Brahma, he offended his own father, Lord Brahma, mentally. Lord Brahma was upset, but he understood. Said, my son, what to do? But Lord Shiva, he was vocal. Lord Shiva wanted to, you have your brother, he comes to see you. So Lord Shiva came with the idea of coming to hug him. And then Brigo said, don't touch me. You live with hobgoblins, you use, the hatches in the crematorium to rob yourself. You're filthy, don't touch me. Shiva was fuming with anger. So, what about anger? Are we free from anger? We are transcendental. Yeah, come on. Very good, very easy to speak philosophy. Yeah, but this is just to humble, to make us humble. The Papa's purpose here is just to make us humble, because the issues he raised here, they're just so pertinent to our everyday reality. So if you understand that, we have not gotten there yet. Then we should be humble. Otherwise, the tendency is to think, and the number of years we live on the planet does not really determine our accomplishments. One could live on this planet for just 5 years, 6 months. Dhruva attained the Supreme in 6 months. So what has hundreds of years got to do with success? Hundreds of years you live on the planet. There are people who are homeless. They're very old. They live for 80 years, 70. But what's the use of that type of long life? It's just bad karma, bad, more suffering. Oh, you're sinful, so be around to suffer all of your sinful reactions before you go. Is there any use for that? But can we make a choice? We don't have a choice. So the modes of nature, these are very important aspects of the metaphysical studies of Krishna consciousness. Because we are being affected by these modes. And these modes are also affecting our relationship with other devotees, because sometimes we can be offensive to other devotees due to the effects of the modes of nature. And sometimes we act completely against our better judgment. And sometimes we know we acted against our better judgment, but we don't realize that we have been influenced by the modes of ignorance, by the mode of ignorance and passion. But the intelligent devotee, he realizes, or she realizes, oh my God, I became a victim of circumstance again. And they will apologize, genuinely from their heart, when they see that some other devotee felt hurt by their action. But the one who is highly maladjusted will just say the things out officially, but they don't have any change of heart. Why? Because of high maladjustment. So again, there are people like that. Let me tell you, I'm sorry. Of course, sometimes some people are just blatant. Even when you beg them, they say, get out from here. I saw a situation some years ago. One young devotee, he committed an offense against some senior devotee. And then, so some other guys or some other devotees told him that, okay, you go beg him so that, this problem could be resolved. So he picked up courage. For you to go and, plead for forgiveness, it takes a lot of courage. So here, this young devotee went to pay obeisances to this senior devotee, supposedly senior in quote. I can explain that, why I say senior in quote. So he went to pay obeisances to this senior devotee in quote. And then the senior devotee was still very much fuming with anger. And he told him, get out of here. This is not Purana. I saw it. Remember, a Greek area mentioned that I've been in the movement for about 30 years, about 3 decades. So we've seen bad and good. And therefore, the modes of nature, they are very damaging. They could damage our reputation. They could damage our relationship. They could make us to be offensive to other devotees. Intelligent person should know that I am not transcendental to the modes of nature. I can hurt anyone at any time. And an intelligent person also should think, I am highly maladjusted. I'm not able to, I don't create any fallibilistic flexibility in my life. And therefore the question of systems approach becomes difficult for us. But you know what? The good news is, if someone hurts you in devotional service, if even you don't call the police for the person, it doesn't matter who she or he is, they get terrible reactions. So even the senior people, when they feel someone is hurt by their actions, they are humble. They genuinely beg for forgiveness. But the person who does not understand the implications of Vaishnava aparad or Vaishnavi aparad, they think, well, I am powerful. I can do anything. No, but this is not the age where we think that doing anything for our sense pleasure or by the through the dictates of the mind and the senses is something to be proud of. It's nothing to be proud of because we do suffer consequences. And why is it that 50 to 75% of people who come to Krishna consciousness don't stay? 50 to 75% of people who come to Krishna consciousness, who come to register their names in Krishna consciousness, they don't stay to the end. I'm just underestimating because this is the general statistics in management studies that 50 to 75% of change initiatives fail. So Krishna consciousness, when we come to Krishna consciousness, this is the highest change initiative we can take on this planet. But the laws of nature don't leave us alone. They don't say, well, I've tortured you for several lifetimes. Okay, we've tortured you for several lifetimes. We'll give you an excuse. No. They don't give anybody an excuse. They don't give us any excuse. And therefore, it's important to really align ourselves with the system through service, regular chanting. And in the beginning, see, we may be blessed by some faith. And then we come in contact with devotees. And we come in contact with devotees through books or, anywhere, like, they were describing before the program how the devotees were doing Harinam in town. Some family just met them, and then the little girl, 7 years old, she started chanting, and then she urged the parents to come here to the temple to be here with the devotees. That is as a result of accumulated pious credit in the past. So why is everyone not attracted? And therefore, when we find people who come impelled by the mode of goodness to come to make inquiries, we should treat them nicely. In fact, the older folks should see that we treat the newer person like our younger brother or younger sister. And especially for women, it is very dangerous to be offensive to women devotees. But if you want to be offensive to males. Oh yeah. And look at the simple logic to that. See, it's very easy for us to have a disagreement with our father. The mother is the one who comes to intervene. The mother is the one who is the peace. In most families, the mother is the peacemaker. Sometimes some children, they liaise with the mother. The father gives some trouble, they take shelter of the mother. And the mother goes to plead. They know, the women, they know their husband. They know exactly what to do to, change his mind. So we have a lot of respect for our mothers. We love our mothers. If we can extend that love and respect to other women in society, this world will be a better place to live in. But the most of nature don't allow us. They push us to be offensive. They push us to try to exploit. They push us to think, I am in control. I am powerful. Ishwaroham, the Ishwara Bhav concept is there. Everyone thinks that he or she is an Ishwara or Ishwari, a controller. This is a problem. And it's not something strange because Ishwara Parama Krishna. Krishna is the supreme controller. If we are part and parcels of Krishna, don't you think that we imbibe some of his qualities in a minuscule scale? Of course, yes. So it doesn't mean, we hurt some people and then we say, well, Bhakti Vasudeva Swami, he just mentioned you that day because, we are part and parcel of Krishna, so we also have this controllership. And so if I offend you, then, if I ever offended you, please, you forgive me. Isn't it? So, the most of nature, they do bad things to us. They do really bad things to us. On Friday, I like to give some graphic stories so that it doesn't look like Puranic stories only. On Friday, I was going to, I'm going for an appointment with an acupuncture in Flushing. So I called for Uber, and it was a lady driver who came to pick me. So we were going, she saw how I dress, and started asking me some personal questions. I said, I'm a priest, but I'm also a scholar. And so we're talking that, she said, can she ask some personal questions? I said, yeah, feel free. She said, there's this, my cousin, he's married, she's married, she has 2 kids with a husband, and, she's in love with another person for about 3 years now. She's in love with another person, and then the guy, the lover told her that she's his first love. So she asked me that, so is this, what's your take on this? What's your view on this? So I said, my response was that, again, I was remembering how the modes can really, put people into difficulties and push people into wrongdoing. And you always have ways to rationalize why you do what you do, how you do it. So I said, if you're married, it's a social contract. So if you break that social contract, if you break any of the terms of the contract, the husband can sue you for damages, because they can claim these days they can just get some lawyer and some healthcare personnel and claim that he suffered some some depression or whatever resulting from you breaking his heart. And besides, it is against the Constitution. It's against the law. If you're married, you don't go and cheat on your husband. And I said, even moral values is counterproductive to morality. So she was taken aback. And I said, look, the major thing that is really ruining our marriages is that we don't ever check compatibilities. We get attracted to somebody for sexual relationship and we say, whew, this is my love. And then you don't stay for long. Sometimes, children are already there. I've seen cases where people have even grandchildren and then they divorce. What is the cause of this? We are in ignorance. Om Agyana Timirandasya. This is the first sloka that we recited here. We are born in ignorance. Although we claim to be very intelligent, wise, and all those things, but the very fundamental things we are ignorant about. We don't know what constitutes a sustainable relationship. And even we do know, we are pushed to act the opposite. Why? The modes of material nature. They push us to do things against a better judgment. So Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport, the process of transcending these modes is through Krishna consciousness. The practice of Krishna consciousness. Why? Because it brings purity of heart. It's not about laws. It brings purity of heart. There are so many laws. There are road traffic edicts. It does not change people from committing road traffic crimes. There are criminal laws. The police, they're checking everywhere. You just call a 911, in 5 minutes, they're there. Is it stopping crime? It may serve as a deterrent. Even, punishing someone may serve as a deterrent for some people who are blessed. But for some people, they're just waiting to go back to prison because they feel, I'm out here and I'm not even able to get 3 square meals. Let me just go back there. So the cycle continues. So the modes of nature, they're very detrimental. And therefore, if we're not able to view this as critical issues, this is the time to begin to reflect. A number of us, we don't like the things we do. And then we do certain things and then we go to regret later. So Krishna consciousness can help us. The good news is that Krishna consciousness can help to change our horrible life patterns. And it's so conspicuous. People are taken to this Krishna consciousness and their bad behavior, their bad attitude, their undesirable situation, goes the opposite side. Whoop! It changes. What type of empirical evidence you want? When hippies are turned into Goswamis, Prabhupada came here. He gave them Krishna consciousness. He gave them this Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Pot heads. They changed to Goswamis. Internationally, they're saints running around, moving around the whole world. What evidence again do you want? So we have to take this process seriously. This is the bottom line. Any comments or questions? Yes.
Maharaj, you were speaking how some devotees for 20, 30 years still haven't expanded or made some tangible improvement. Is it due to offenses? Or it's just something else?
There are a number of circumstances surrounding that. Some of us, the modes of nature, the Bhagavad-gita, Lord Krishna describes how the modes of nature, they act on us in different ways. For instance, the mode of ignorance, someone who's covered by the mode of ignorance, he's just hurtful. His actions. He may have good intentions, but he acts in ways to hurt people. And then hurting anyone checkmates your progress in devotional service. If it does not throw you off balance and then you one day say, this Hare Krishna, I'm not going there again. Everything isn't there. Yeah, if it accumulates too much, the Radharani tells us, bye-bye. In other words, check out. Yeah, we have seen so many people. Look, when I took initiation, first initiation, we were 65. I think it's just Damodar Swami, myself, one of the other my grandbrother. Who else? 65, okay? The people who are remaining, still holding on, they're not up to 6. So that estimate from the management studies for our movement, that is an underestimation. It's an underestimation that 50% to 75% of change initiatives fail. For our movement, we've seen it's far more than that. Majority of people who came, or even met Prabhupada, they left for good. So if we are out here, we are here, we should ask ourselves, what is it I should do to be able to stay put for the rest of my life? I get jealous when I hear a devotee die in the movement. I get jealous because I always think, oh my God, he's successful. Because I don't know what is going to happen to me. That's why when I had an accident in 1990, and then I remember at the very last moment, I was chanting Hare Krishna. And then later I found myself, Krishna pushed me back into this horrible body. It's like saying, hey, you want to escape? Yeah, I'll tell you more karma to deal with. Come on, get back there. I was upset, but what could I do? So we should think about this. This is a nice point you raise. Yeah, offenses is very terrible. It could destroy our devotional creeper. And it's so easy to make offense, especially if we are men and then other people around are women. We tend to think, because we were groomed in a patriarchal system. We think that the women are just there for us to oppress and marginalize, or talk to them anyhow, or treat them hurtfully also. And we think that this is normal. And if we feel we love Krishna, but Krishna claims in the Gita, Mama evam so jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatana. Everyone is my part and parcel. You see, we are Krishna consciousness. Even the very fundamental principles become the ultimate principle, and it's so difficult to deal even with the very fundamental concepts. So it's a nice point you raise. Yeah, one of the things is offenses. Second thing, we don't raise our bars. We don't go on stretch goals. And then when we have some challenges, then we will fall below even the minimum standard. Stretch goal means, this is the goal you're supposed to achieve here, but every day you are here. And so the day that your mind becomes so disturbed, you fall down to this level, which is the normal one. And you are lamenting, oh, I fell. But this is the normal requirement, is the average. So that's one area that we don't take cognizance of. We think we have done so much by the little service we are doing, by the 16 rounds we're chanting. But no, nothing is too much. Anytime we have time, we should incorporate more activities in our life, more chanting in our life. In that way, we don't create room for Maya. To feel comfortable, it's like you're opening your doors for Maya. She's very trickish, and it could come different ways. Yeah. Any other comments? Yes.
I have two questions.
All right.
One is a follow-up to Hare Krishna's question. So you mentioned that the maladjusted person or the person who's in ignorance, when they're committing an offense, they should think to themselves, I'm maladjusted or I'm in ignorance. But if the person is in ignorance, how can they recognize that they are in ignorance?
Yeah, but the point is, when people don't know that everyone is affected by the three modes of nature, we all think that we are very wise. But here is the first verse before you read, before you share the Bhagavad-gita. Om Agyana Timirandasya Jnana Jana Salakaya. You listen to any speaker before they speak, they share the Bhagavad-gita. This is the verse they speak. The meaning is that I was born in the darkest, not just in the dark region of ignorance, it's in the superlative degree. No. I was born in the darkest region of ignorance. So we are all, that statement is also there in the Bible. A similar statement is also there in the Bible. That we are born in sins. In sins did our mothers conceive us. That's the statement in the Bible. So we're supposed to know better that we are not there yet. Taking your words. I like to imitate people, okay? So these are the words of one of my mentees. He said, we are not there yet. Yeah, so does that answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah. What is it? The next question?
The second one is a more overall question of your lecture today. Is there any positive hook in the three modes of nature? Because
positive what?
A positive hook. Is there a
positive book?
Hook, like is
positive
there,
hook.
Yeah.
Explain.
The connection.
Because I mean, each subject can be analyzed from a positive point of view, or it could be you can just throw all the negatives and explain all the. So today we're talking about all the challenges that we're dealing with.
Sure.
Being controlled by the three modes of material nature.
Not only the three modes, because you're talking about the three modes. So I'm just using the three modes as as a bait.
Right.
There are other endogenous and exogenous factors that contribute to our challenges in our devotional life. But the three modes of nature, they're prominent features. Yes.
Right. So it's a lot of negativity. Is there any
positive aspect?
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. I think I mentioned that.
In America, every American movie has like a happy end. Is there anything positive?
Yeah. There are a lot of positive things there. For instance, I begin with the bad one, mode of ignorance. All of us, we enjoy the mode of ignorance. And without the mode of ignorance, we will not be living. How is that? Sleep, nidra, is the mode of ignorance. But if you don't sleep, you're looking for trouble. You end up in hospital. So, the sleep enables us to rejuvenate. But sometimes we say, well, oh my God, I enjoyed sleep so much last weekend because I slept excess 12 hours every day for the whole weekend. We're proud of that. But if we look at sleep from the negative aspect, we will be miscuing because we need sleep to be able to function properly. So that's the mode of ignorance. We need it. If I don't sleep, I will be very restless and I will not be able to concentrate on anything. The mode of passion. Yeah, there are bad aspects of the mode of passion. It impels us to commit sinful activities, but for self gratification. But the mode of passion, the whole of this universe was set in place due to the influence of the mode of passion. Lord Brahma created this, was a secondary creator, who was able to put different elements, Bhumi, Apa, Nala, Vayu, Kamanu, Buri, Evacha, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false people. He assembled these elements under the auspices of the mode of passion. So creativity, that is innovativeness. That's the mode of passion. And the mode of goodness, we just after the welfare of everyone else. So, and we do things, we are interested in raising people's consciousness, raising standards for the common good. In the mode of passion and ignorance, we are just about ourselves. We are very egocentric. So yeah, the mode of passion is also having this good side, because it helps us to be creative. And the mode of passion enables us to be sustainable in what we do. Sustainable in this sense means to be able to go on doing what we deem appropriate and what we think is going to create a viable future in our life. We need passion to do that. Yeah, we need more passion to do that. So yeah, there are a number of other similar situations. We need passion to be able to procreate. Sex. We need passion to do that. Many people on the planet enjoy sex. Is there anybody here who says he doesn't enjoy sex? I don't think so. But that's the mode of passion. That's the mode of passion. And that is the only, like the preeminent enjoyment factor on the planet. So people have to go to school, they study so much, they acquire many degrees. But for what? To have a nice sex partner? So that they can be proud of. This is my spouse. Or this is my girlfriend or boyfriend, for those who are not in the devotional circle. So that is also seen to be, without that mode of passion, with that element of passion, the world will not be sustainable. There will be no procreation will not be there. We need children, right? To go on with this Krishna consciousness. So the passion helps that. Oh yeah. Of course, if you have to do that in the mode of goodness, it entails a lot of austerities. And you can just bring only one soul that will change the whole world. Just one person that will change things around. Maybe you have to chant so many rounds. The sex act has to be performed at a particular time. I mean, it's like if you are drunk and then you are hungry to eat and someone says, hey, wait. And the food is there, you say, wait. It's difficult, isn't it? So, yeah, passion is there. So it helps to maintain some type of equilibrium in the material realm. Because through the mode of passion, there is that type of aspiration to do something. Without the mode of passion, we will not be desirous to forge ahead, to do something, to go to school, to study, to go to work, and all those type of things. Yeah. So, passion is not as bad as we think. That's what you want to hear?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. What's the time now?
7:18.
Huh?
7:18.
So it's far beyond the period. What time do we start the class? You remember?
6 o'clock, Maharaj.
Oh, so that is far beyond the period. It's supposed to be just 45 minutes. I'm sorry for prolonging it. Is it?
You're in the right range.
No, we are not in India, man. In India, you go to some temple and you're giving a class. You say, so what time are we stopping the class? You say, Maharaj, you're not in America. Just go on. Don't ask what time you have to stop. People have to do their other stuff, so we should be conscious of time. Okay, so I think at this time we can you know, stop the class here and then follow up with other programs. Or some more kirtan, right? Again, thank you very much for coming. Hare Krishna.